The epidemic of addiction to opioids, including heroin and prescription painkillers, is taking more than 80 lives a day.
At war with methamphetamine.
Died from excessive drinking.
Killed more than 100,000 Americans.
Plaguing communities and destroying lives.
Could be considered a nationwide epidemic.
When is it time to get some help?
In the United States, drug and alcohol addiction has become a looming epidemic that has taken the lives of over 19.7 million Americans. However, this statistic does not even begin to reflect the countless lives affected by the troubling addiction of a loved one. In fact, nearly 50% of all Americans know someone who has battled or is currently struggling with a substance abuse disorder. They could be a friend, family, a stranger, maybe even someone you know.
It's my friend.
My aunt.
My cousins.
My uncle.
My brother.
Myself.
With millions of untold stories, this is Emilee's.
I have to protect my own peace by not letting her back into my life. So I don't really remember having much of a relationship with my sister other than when I was little and I just looked up to her a lot and I wanted to dress like her and I wanted to listen to the same music as her. And I remember that she reminded me of Kesha, and at the time Kesha was so cool. And I wanted to be just like my sister because to me, like, Katie and Kesha, like, were the same. That's like how much I looked up to her and wanted to be like her.
Emilee's older sister Katie developed a drug addiction when she was in high school. Emilee was just 10 years old when she realized her sister had a problem and recalls the first night she noticed something was wrong.
She moved out for the first time and she had gone missing for the first time of the many times that she did go missing. And she came back and she was like I'd never seen her before. She was like loopy, and I remember my parents made her sleep in my room and she was like screaming in her sleep because she was like strung out. And I think that's when it really settled in that she had a problem.
Even at her young age, Emilee knew her sister needed help, but it remained unclear if she would ever obtain it.
I only ever remember her getting help probably once ever because she won't accept help. A part of drug addiction and getting better for her was that she would go to the methadone clinic. So methadone is, I believe, also an opiate, and it just makes you stop doing other drugs. It's just as bad as like crack, anything like that, but it makes you stop doing multiple. It makes you so that you can't do multiple drugs at once. And so she would have to go to the clinic every day and get her methadone, and that's what made her stop doing the other stuff. So it's like being a healthy drug addict almost.
But her addiction took her away from her family once again. After battling addiction in her youth, it appeared as though Katie was finally clean when she got married and had her daughter Evie.
I think 2 years ago she went missing for good. For a long time we didn't know where she was. We had heard from police officers because we have some in my family, and we had heard that they had seen her on the streets and she had been involved with some really bad people, but we hadn't heard from her. She had seen the missing persons reports and just went about her life as if she was a ghost. And actually the way that they found her was because she was with someone and they had stolen a car together, and she went to jail.
Katie's addiction affected everyone in her life, including her young daughter Evie.
So Katie did drugs when she had Evie in the womb. So Evie came out a little bit delayed. She is supposed to be starting kindergarten this year, actually. She's almost 5 years old. She is not potty trained. She cannot speak in full coherent sentences, and a lot of other things. She doesn't understand social cues and such because she is so delayed because of my sister doing drugs.
Katie last saw her daughter over a year ago.
She's never really been there for her. It's really been her grandparents because my sister's husband is actually also a drug addict. So it's really just been a grandparent thing for Evie. And she's a really good set of grandparents, which is awesome, but it's a really big bummer that she can't have a good parent. However, I will say that her having Evie out of all of this, it almost feels like I lost a sister and gained another, and it's really nice.
Today, Katie has yet to come home or seek medical treatment.
I would say at the end of the day, Katie still is my blood sister. Obviously, there's no changing that. But just because she is my blood sister does not make her family to me. For her, there just hasn't been any happy ending.
It's never too late to get help. If you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse, call the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP or visit www.findtreatment.gov to find a qualified healthcare provider in your area.